Hey, everybody, it's Tony Jackson with US Power Soccer Association, and we are about to watch the 2019 US Power Soccer Association MK Battery Premier Conference Championship game. But before we do, we're going to have a little chat with a couple folks from that game. Joining me today from formerly the Minnesota Shockwave, Riley Johnson, and also joining me today from RHI Sudden Impact, Jordan Dickey. Guys, welcome and thank you for joining today. How are y'all doing?
Pretty good. Pretty
Yeah.
good. Just living life in the quarantine, but good.
As we all are. Again, thank you all for joining us today. So we're going to talk about the game for a little bit and just kind of dive in a little bit deeper, maybe things that we wouldn't know just by watching the game. The first thing I want to ask between both of you, Riley and Jordan, I mean, all three of us have been playing for a long time. I've been playing for 11 years, and you guys have been playing for even longer, which means that you guys have seen each other a lot over the years. We'll start with you, Jordan. You know what Riley is like to play against and play with because you guys are on Team USA together. How do you prepare for that game, knowing that you have Pete, you have Chad Wilson, and now you have Riley on that Minnesota Shockwave team?
Yeah, they were loaded last year. It was Riley can move the ball up and down the court best with anyone, probably the best in the U.S. for sure. Just gets it on his guard and can take anybody down the court. And then you have Pete doing the kick-ins and that laser that he has. Then Riley on the far side finishing. Then Chad with their motion. I mean, they were an amazing team last year. And then you have Nathan back there with his smart play. Just if you get a chance, he's probably going to knock it out of bounds and let them reset and start all over, put that pressure on you. So I would say probably the best team that I've ever seen in club level. For sure, they were a really complete team.
And Riley, now for the Minnesota Shockwave, this is actually a reunion for you. You, Pete Winslow, and Nathan Mayer had been playing together on the Courage Thunder and Minnesota Magic for years. And then when the Minnesota Shockwave actually split off to form, Pete joined that team, and you and Nathan were still on the Magic together. But then Nathan had moved over to the Shockwave. So now you're back together again. What was that like for you playing in that game? You guys had grown so much. And then how do you prepare for playing against Jordan and his team?
Yeah, well, reuniting with those guys, it was great. It had been almost 6 years since we all played together. And right from the beginning of the season, it was like we were playing like we had as kids. But a lot better than what we were 6 years ago. And we had played in championships together. We won a championship together. We lost a championship together. And so losing the one was the most recent. So the memory was still fresh because we had just, played together with that loss. So that was the last time we all played together. So yeah, it was a great reuniting. And then playing against Jordan, he's the trickiest player in the country. He comes up with new tricks every season. It baffles me. So it's always fun to play against him, try to figure out his tricks, try to figure out the puzzle that he's setting out for you. And fortunately, this game we figured it out, but it's not the case every game. We played earlier this season, and it was a lot closer. I don't remember the score, but it was a lot closer a game. And then Lexi on the side with him, they played very good together, and it was their first season playing together. So it's going to be pretty interesting to see how they play together in the future. Mm-hmm. So a very tough team.
So Jordan, actually, Riley brings up a really good point that I want to touch on with you for a moment. Now, this isn't the first time that you've played on RHI Sudden Impact without Katie, who you had played with for a long time. And there was a season or two where Zach was with you all as well, which really made you all an extremely powerful team. But now this past season, it was you again as the only Dickey playing on that team. But as Riley said, you had Lexi there, you had Moises Rojas there as well. I mean, And so what was that like playing with Lexi? Because she's a great player in her own right. She just brings a different set of skills that Katie and Zach don't have, right? So what was
Mhm.
that like, that adjustment this year and making it all the way to the championship game?
Yeah, I, at the start of the season, we were hoping for a podium finish um, because we knew it was our first year together, and Lexi's a great player, like you said. So her coming in as well as Kelby came in that year too. Um, but Lexi plays a lot like I do. A lot of smart play. Maybe doesn't have the best kick, but can maybe outsmart an opponent or make a good quick pass. So we really complemented each other well and have practiced together throughout the season and games, sort of help build that chemistry. It was different playing without Zach and Katie, of course, but everyone was able to step up, and I played a little more up this year as a goalie than I did the year before. I stayed back a little bit more with Katie and Zach because we had those two other strong ball handlers, but this time we had Lexi and I up front with Jenny as far wing and rotating that position, and everyone played really well. And I would say getting to the championship game was a success. Of course, we wanted to win it, but we had some really good games before that, and last game sort of let us down. But I was really proud of the team and the way that we came together that one year, like you said.
And Riley, so you had 5 people who were either
Yeah.
on Team USA or at the tryouts, which is a load of talent. And you guys, the results during the tournament showed it. I mean, you guys were destroying people during the competition. So this is probably a loaded question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. What was your mentality and confidence like going into the championship match?
Well, going into the championship match, not much was said. We knew we had to do what we had been doing the whole season, and why was that going to stop? So, I mean, we were respecting our team. We knew it was a tough team, but if we played what we were playing before, it was going to be tough to beat us. So, yeah, not a lot was said. It was all understood. So.
And
Yeah,
Jordan, on your end, when you see that on the other side of the court, I mean, you have just in the starting lineup alone, you have 3 Team USA members, and then another person who was in the tryout camp. I mean, how
mhm,
do you prepare that team? I mean, you and Lexi have had a lot of experience over the years, especially in championship matches, but and Ginny too, for sure. But
mhm,
you have Moises on that team as well, who hasn't had as much experience, and I'm probably forgetting some folks, and I apologize.
mhm.
But how do you get your team ready for that type of match?
Honestly, I probably let it get to my head too much. I was a little not afraid, but not intimidated, but just like I need to play a perfect game, have a chance to beat this team that is so well rounded, and because they complement each other perfectly. So I think I made a lot of mistakes that game trying to do too much because I knew any mistake I made, they were going to capitalize on. So I let that get in my head a little too much, I think. So you really just got to stay focused, play your game. And that's one thing that I didn't do. And even if we played our game, they probably still would have beat us because they were so good. Um, but you just got to play your game and don't let that get in your head.
Just from a tactical standpoint, and you don't have to give away all of your secrets, but what is something that you see maybe coming into the game in the near future? Riley, we'll start with you.
I see a lot of you get a pass and it's not a great pass. You can't do much with it. You just pass it back to the goalkeeper, and then it resets your play. You're not going to give up. You're not going to turn over the ball. So I think that's going to be a big tactic and a big trick that people are going to start using. It'll make your bad passes. You'll be able to compensate for that.
Mm-hmm.
So.
That's something you see with the English team now. Like if you watch them play their 4-up style of play, you'll see a lot of the passes go back towards the goalkeeper and to the other who's essentially playing the center. And it's interesting to see if more teams here will start adopting a similar strategy. Jordan, what do you see coming up?
It's getting so hard to score on set plays. So more of that motion like the Shockwave used last year, but you have to have a great kicker. So I think we're going to see more teams try and keep it in play and try and pass the ball around the box. instead of going for set plays. With that goalie up, there's just no room to fit that ball through unless you can just blast the ball. So I think that's one thing that Sudden Impact has always tried to do, is just keep the ball in play and move the ball around the box in the triangle passing. I think now we'll go back to a little bit more of that and move away from the set plays, I think.
Okay, so one more question I wanted to ask you guys, not necessarily related to the Premier Conference or the top level of play, but like the three of us have been around the game for quite a while now. And over the last couple of years, I think we've seen more than in recent memory an influx of younger talent coming in and younger players that are really showing a lot of promise for the future. For example, I had a chance to speak with Michael Rayton from the San Jose Flash the other day. And you guys have seen them too. I mean, I think all of us who have been playing for a while like to watch the less experienced and younger players as they're coming up. Can you guys talk about what you see with the newer players coming in? Jordan, we'll start with you.
It's just exciting to see those young players and know that they'll be able to challenge you in the future, and that's drives me to be better and to also be a good role model for them. But when I came into the sport, it was move the ball by just pushing it. And now kids are coming in and seeing this exciting passing game, and that's going to open their eyes even more to how exciting it is, and I think it'll make it more fun to play. But I think one of the things that we benefited as a sport from is having the conference tournaments all in one place in the last few years. That gives us higher level conference teams a chance to see those kids and new teams play. That's really exciting, but it also gives them a chance to see the top level in the U.S. and learn from that experience and learn from that play. And that's just going to elevate the whole USPSA overall, I think.
Yeah, they're definitely going to be able to leapfrog off of the development that the players now have put in. The skill level has just gone up since I started playing. So these young players are going to be able to benefit off of that. And it's really awesome to watch the young players. They're just, they have the passion for the game. It's exciting to watch when, they scream with their teammates when they score, and they also, take a loss and sometimes cry, and that shows the passion. And that, I was a crier, maybe I was a baby, but it also shows passion that they care about the game. They care about playing as a team and winning, and that's great to see. I love the passion. That's only gonna help the growth, is with having passion for the sport. So.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's also really exciting to see. And Jordan, I had a chance to speak with Zach the other day. We were talking to the Chipetta brothers from the Champions Conference, and Zach was just singing the praises of Kyle Eggleston from Atlanta Sting. And he's not very old. He's 14, maybe 13. I mean, he's in his early teens, but he's been playing since he was 8. And you can see like the fire and the passion, as you mentioned, Riley, when he plays. And people like Michael Rayton as well. And that whole San Jose Flash team is really young and really impressive.
Oh yeah.
And as I have mentioned to other people, I have a young player who's 8 on my team, and I can already tell that, as long as he keeps moving along, he's going to be quite an impressive player as well. I can't wait to show you him when we get back out there on the floor. Okay, so with that, we are about to watch the Premier Conference Championship from 2019, Minnesota Shockwave, RHI Sudden Impact. Riley, Jordan, thank you very much for joining us, and hope to see you guys back out on the court soon.
For sure,
thanks
Tony.
for having us.
All right, thanks,
Thank
guys.
you. See ya.